Welcome everybody, David Mitchell here, and welcome back to Fans of Train, episode 7, and we're talking about sick, which you probably see name it title, and the thumbnail is the WWF up in Maine, the narrow gauge railroad, the 2-foot, which I'll be honest, is one of my top favorites, but yeah. So for people who probably don't know, or people I know, I did talk about it plenty of time in some of my older videos about me being up to the North Carolina Transportation Museum up there in Spencer, North Carolina. First time ever seeing classics locomotives. But yeah. But let me just say this. Nothing beat the classics. But yeah. And like there are classic railroads, like historic railroads that I think are pretty good, like the Durango and Silverton, the White Pass. All of them are good. Now, the White Pass and Yukon, it's something that I find interesting because it is a classic railroad, and it a narrow gauge railroad. Is that it getting new diesel locomotive, narrow gauge diesel locomotive, brand spanking new ones, which I'm at a pretty surprise. So yeah. Also, so that that the Durango Silverton out we getting the White Pass, or technically already does have the White Pass and Yukon diesel. So that's pretty interesting, and those ends are Alcos. And for people who know about me, I like Alcos. Like seriously, I like Alco Locomotive. They're some of my favorites. Move my brand new boots that I had to get tonight. I will if you stop dislike bombing me. But that Zane, you don't get your answer until you learn that dislike and bombing is a coward, Zane. So yeah. Yeah, get upset. You should have thought about that when you guys disliked the video before it even began. Go ahead and get upset. If you want me to answer it, then prove that it was not you, because you always have a tendency to put in dislikes to Cargo Rail fan. So, yeah. So, prove to me by liking the video and not trying to dislike bomb it like a complete moron. Because I don't do that shit. I know you're the co-host, but you got to learn, man. I can evoke that anytime I want. Just think about it. Now let's get back to some classics. Let me see.
Sorry, guys.
Really going?
Yeah.
I am not bringing that question up, but all right. All right.
Oh, look who it is.
So, what are your classic railroads that you have been on, like tourist railroads and museums? What have you guys been on?
I've been on the train at the Henry Dorley Zoo. Does that count?
Dude, that don't count. Sorry, man. That not a historic railroad. That not a tourist railroad. All that is
What are
a
you
zoo.
talking about? It's a railroad that's in a zoo. How is it not a tourist railroad?
Yeah, it takes you around the zoo.
It's a park railroad, man.
Park railroad? Define that.
Park railroad is where a little railroad go around a park.
Okay. I don't see how that excludes it from being a tourist railroad. They kind of sound like the child railways of the Soviet Union.
Oof. Yeah, good point. But
so, Green Line goes through Conservatory Park. Does that make it a park railroad?
Oh boy. You guys murdered me with a word. Damn.
Rip.
Okay, here's a question. Does the railroad in the Illinois Railroad Museum count as a tourist railroad?
Yes. The railroad that at the Illinois Railroad Museum count at tourist road. Heck, same with the North Carolina Transportation Museum.
So if it's at a museum, it counts. But if it isn't, it doesn't.
It don't have to be at a museum to count at tourist railroad. Actually, you might be right. Right, so you are right about that.
Okay.
But is there any other railroads museums you've been to?
Museums? Yeah, I've been to the Lake Superior Railroad Museum. I've been to the Forney Museum of Transportation.
Oh, you lucky son of a bitch.
Oh, which museum makes me lucky?
Both. Dude, the only railroad museum I have ever been to was North Carolina Transportation Museum, and that was back when I was 16, back in 2014.
Okay.
Same year.
Question.
That was same year that they were rebuilding 611. When I seen 611 in person, and that was when
I saw 4014 in person. So
heck, that one thing that I'm going to try to get down next summer.
Yeah, see locomotives in person.
Hey, well, we got one of the oldest steam engines down here in South Carolina. The best friend of Charleston. That steam engine is almost 200 years old. Give it about an...
My rail museum got a GG1.
Well...
Ouch.
Hey, well, the locomotive that in downtown Trenton, the best friend of Trenton, that sucker is 190 years, about 195. So, it almost 200 years old. So, that an old-ass locomotive right there.
All right. I'm not really into, like, the super old locomotives. I'm just more in awe of, like, the big, powerful...
the big boy?
Locomotives of the Midwest kind of stuff. Like,
I am too, you know? Heck, what do you think about the Maryland and Scenic big steam engine that they have up and running right now? What do you think of that?
Maryland and Scenic. I think I know what locomotive you're talking about.
1309.
It's okay.
1309.
Oh, all right.
The big one. The 2882. I'm not gonna lie, that one big ass locomotive.
Yeah.
And you know, it technically big at steam locomotive in the South or the West Coast, you know? You guys got
not as big as the big boy.
I know, but you guys got the big boy. We got 1309. Well,
fair enough. I mean, at least it's an articulated locomotive, so I guess that's cool.
True.
I don't know what's going on with the front of the locomotive, though. I think that looks weird. Looks like a tumor.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it does, but that the compound pound, you know?
No, I don't actually.
Oh, you don't? You don't know what a compound is? Wow.
A compound?
Yeah, that with that little chain on the front of the locomotive, it called.
Yeah. Well, we can barely tell what you're saying, so
Is that your foot on the mic, David?
No. I'm showing the guys what team engine we're talking about on screen. You know, funny thing about the locomotive is that a lot of people say it curves.
yeah, that's what I mean by articulated locomotive, where you've got two sets of drive wheels that are connected by the boiler.
I know, but a lot of people say the locomotive it curves. I'm not even joking.
I see where they're coming from.
What are we? When back in the 2010s when they were moving the locomotive there, the train that it was on hit a freaking railroad crossing that was down on the tracks. A railroad crossing sign. Or gate, to be more exact. The train that was carrying it. Then you had all the problems. Then you had people stealing the parts from the locomotive, you know?
I was actually never made aware of this, so...
Yeah, the locomotive... A lot of people say the locomotive, it cursed.
Oh, curse! I thought you said curved. And
No, it cursed.
Okay. As in, like, ooh, there's a scary curse on it.
Heck, and a lot...
Friday the 13th, horror something. I don't know.
But there also been memes about that locomotive, too. And I mean a lot of memes.
Not a surprise.
But literally, like, locomotive, like, train, the CXX train, it was on that was pulling it, hit freaking railroad crossing gates that were down on the train tracks, that were actually knocked down on the tracks when they were bringing it to the Maryland and Scenics. Then when they were rebuilding the locomotive, some of the parts got stolen. Then one of the buildings got burnt down, you know? Kind of crazy.
I guess. I'm not the superstitious type, so I just see these all as a bunch of coincidences.
But I'm not gonna lie, but I think that's encroachment and bad luck. Right there. Uh-oh, it's got a freaking train chopping here in Ravenel. I can hear it, the thumping of the engine.
Oh no. Get the clovers.
Meaning we're going to have a second meetup tonight already.
Get the camera, David. You're going to film that for Real Fanning Ravenel Part 555?
Dude, I did do that. Like, heck, I'm actually trying to expand out, and I'm actually thinking about trying to go up to Columbia or Greenville. I'm trying to think about going up there and catching some trains up there on some of the Norfolk Southern lines. Try to get something interesting. But, yeah.
Yeah? Well, don't you have a car?
I needed to tell Val something that.
Don't you have a car and a license so you can use?
Dude, I had to give up my driver permit. My eyesight is going bad. Out of everybody in the family, I was the last one who had the eyes problem. Everybody else got the eyes problem first. And then with me being the second oldest, I was always expecting me to get it after my sister, but nope. Everybody else got it, and then I have to be the one who got it last. You know? Like, seriously.
This sounds like incredibly personal stuff.
Wait, what happened? I accidentally disconnected.
Something about David's eyesight going bad, I think.
Yeah, well, Dana, I started losing a little bit of my eyesight. Like,
That's what happens when you stare too much on the screen.
no, son. I'm mostly outside working in the parking lot all day. Right in the sun view, you know?
What, are you staring at the sun?
No. Dude, when we are bringing cartons up in the building where I work at, way that we are walking in the direction of the sun. So we end up...
Put on sunglasses, my dude.
Dude, we're not allowed to wear sunglasses at work.
Who cares?
Well, would you rather go blind or...
No. Hey, well, I still have some... My eyesight is still good enough, but it's not 20/20 anymore.
And can't you get it corrected?
Yeah, but that is fucking expensive.
Well, would you rather get the investment and be able to drive again, or not and not drive?
Yes, I would.
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
I wear glasses too, so I think if your vision isn't 20/20, you can get it correct. You can see a eye doctor, and they can give you a prescription for your eyes. Get to pick your frames, and you can wear glasses.
Yeah, it doesn't even cost you anything. Your insurance will cover.
Well,
I don't know. Depending on
that's assuming you have insurance. If you don't have it, because I had to pay like $250 for my frames.
You know what the funny thing is? Even if you have insurance, it depends on what type of insurance you have, because not every insurance pays for it. You know?
That is true.
That's something that needs to fucking change, you know?
Yeah, why don't we get a public healthcare system to solve that problem?
Oh.
That way we don't have to deal with insurance.
Oh, that right. Obama tried to do that, and we all know what happened.
Not exactly. What he tried to do was to get everyone on insurance.
Yeah, and
there's no way he could make public healthcare public. But if he could get everyone on insurance, the more healthy people on insurance, the less insurance would cost, because insurance premiums go up the more sick people are on insurance.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, to be honest, I just see it as mainly Obama doing everything he could.
I know.
To make a healthcare system public right away.
I know.
So he just tried to come up with a compromise.
Ooh, yep, flatten the horn. Yep, meet up, train going by.
Only can hear it.
Oh well. Now I guess we can get our private health insurance providers. Let's hope you can cover your deductible.
Mm-hmm.
Good thing I qualify for government insurance.
Well, I'm on SSI for me. Oof. Yeah, he'll blind that horn right through, meaning it'll meet up. Jesus, he's still going.
Can't hear the horn.
Hey, well, you guys probably can on live stream. You probably can hear it on live stream. To go back to the 19-minute mark.
We might be able... That depends on if you're using a different microphone for your stream.
I am. Dude, I'm using a freaking boom mic. Or not a freaking boom. Vel, what is your mic called again?
Condensed microphone?
I'm using a condensed microphone.
Oh, so like a Yeti?
It's something that you use for singing.
And podcast.
And broadcasts, so this thing can pick up a lot of shit.
So, well, actually, there are plenty of microphones that do that, so I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
So you can afford a mic like that. You can't afford glasses.
No, did when my wife mom sent it for her birthday a year ago.
Yeah. Plus, if I don't know exactly what condenser mic you have, but the Blue Yetis cost around like $120 on the cheap end. And then your frames will cost like $250.
How much did
at
it cost?
least. Some of them go for like $300.
All right, this mic right here cost $99.
Hey, that's not bad. Do you have like a snowball or?
No, look on stream. Look at it on stream. I have the name of it right here.
Okay.
You see on stream right here?
Oh yeah, it's a Rode. Yeah, I'm familiar with the brand, but I don't know what kind of microphone that is.
Well,
Is that a slash to the O?
yes. It have a slash in the O.
Yeah, so it's vowel O. So
Mm-hmm.
like Tromso or Bostoi or Ekaro or
Well,
your Scandinavian stuff.
yeah. Now D mics are pretty good. They can pick up a lot of shit. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, or if you know how to manually turn up the gain on a microphone, assuming it's not maxed out already, you can make your microphones more or less sensitive, even if it's just a headset mic.
Mm-hmm. But when I play back the live stream later on and go to the 19-minute mark, you could probably hear the train going by.
Okay.
But yeah.
What were we talking about again?
About the Maryland and Scenics. The Maryland and Scenic and 1309.
Okay.
About
yeah, I remember.
That
They
local.
said that the front of the locomotive was ugly.
Hey, well, the locomotive does look badass. Heck, it's up and more in line with steampunk, you know? Did think about it, steampunk?
Well, it's a steam locomotive. Of course it's going to be steampunk themed.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah,
like,
but...
literally any locomotive could be considered steampunk.
That 50-50, it all depends. Heck, we almost ended up with a steampunk steam engine that looked like a freaking diesel back in the 80s during the oil crisis, if you guys remember that.
The oil crisis was in the 80s?
No, in the 70s. In the 70s and toward near the 80s. Like, you remember?
Gasoline.
Yeah, when we had the gasoline crisis back in the 70s toward near the 80s, they were planning to bring steam engines back, but looking like diesel locomotives. The plan never got off the ground, but there were some pretty unique drawings of them that you can actually look online. It was pretty interesting, and they were testing it out. CXX were out, we doing a test of it back in the 80s, which was pretty interesting, and I'm just saying too crazy, but yeah. But hey, have anybody ever seen 611 before?
I haven't.
Utica?
They don't come by the city.
That means I'm the only one who ever seen it. Wow.
Yeah, well, I'm the only one that saw the big boy, so...
True.
I've got bragging rights, too.
The only one who don't have bragging right is the Chicago Rail fan.
Hey, he went to the Illinois Railroad Museum. That's pretty cool. He saw the GG1s.
Oh, and the Little Joes. You know the Little Joes?
To be fair, I could easily just drive to the Illinois Railroad Museum.
Chicago Rail fan.
Yeah, but we can't.
Chicago Rail fan, I need to add. You know what the Little Joes are? Oh, brother, don't tell me you don't know the Little Joes when they worked to cargo. They were freaking humongous electric locomotives that were used on the South Shore line to haul freight. Uh-oh. Hey, you still there?
I don't know.
Chicago Rail fan. All right, let me turn that better. But you never knew what the Little Joe was?
Well, he hasn't responded, so
Wow.
to me, that doesn't. I think his connection cut or something because he hasn't responded at all.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh. But the Little Joes are electric locomotives that were supposed to be imported to Russia back in the 50s, but we all know how that went. Hey, Chicago Rail fan, you there? We can't hear you.
Give him time.
I said yes. I DC'd from my computer, so now I have to use my phone.
Oof. But let me just say that you don't know what the Little Joes are?
Is that a Joe Mama joke? I ain't falling for the.
No. The Little Joes, they were big electric locomotives that would run on the South Shore line. Back all the way up until the 1980s. They're one in the Illinois Transportation Museum, or the Railroad Museum to be more exact.
The Little Joes. I don't know if they're called that.
Well, that's what everybody nicknamed them are. But the Milwaukee Road used to have them when they had their Montana Electric division back up until the 1980.
I'm more of a North Shore fan than a South Shore fan.
You know, the North Shore had them. The North Shore and technically the North Shore did have them too. But I'm surprised you did not know what they was. Wow. I'm not even from.
That's because you're using a more obscure name.
Exactly.
Oh, let me.
The photos of them. We'll see what happens.
Let me go on Google and bring up what I'm talking about.
What did you say they were called? The Little Joes?
Yeah, they were called Little Joes. Electric locomotives.
Do you know what model they were?
No, but that what they're.
That's the problem.
Oh. Okay, yeah, I know which one you're talking about, David. It's just that you use an interesting name to describe them. Yeah, I've seen this one. I think they have one in the Illinois Road Museum.
Yes. You know, they have only one up and running, and that at the Illinois Railroad Museum.
Yeah, they don't use it anymore. They just use the, I forgot what model the freight locomotives are, but they kind of remind me of the SD40.
Dude, they would double cab, you know? You could run them in both directions.
It's like taking like one of those like iconic 50s diesel locomotives and putting two of them, and then just putting electrical components inside.
Yep, that's what it was. South Shore Railroad.
that's interesting. The current freight locomotives for the South Shoreline are, well, at least I know one of them is the GP38-2. Well, that's why it reminds me of the C40.
Found it. But the locomotive, they were called Little Joes, you know? Heck.
Yeah, you've repeated that several times already.
Yeah, but I'm surprised. I'm surprised that Chicago Rail fan, even though you live in Chicago, that you had no idea what they were called.
That's probably because it was just a nickname. The official name is always like the name of the railroad and then a number. Like, I know we know about the big boys, but their actual names were Union Pacific 4014.
No, 4000s. They were called the X4000.
Alright, if you're gonna be a pedant.
Dude, I looked up my history.
Yeah, but like, no one. Who the fuck calls them the X4014s? I don't. And I know they're not typically listed like that at any museum that I've been to.
Well, that
2005, 4008.
Well, good news is that they're not called that. You know, we are all glad that they did not have that name stuck around.
You just said you. No, you're a dumbass. You just said that they were called the X4014. Then you backpedaled on that a minute later.
No, I said they were called the X4000. I did not said X4014, the X4000. Like, you gotta listen to what I say a little bit better.
You gotta listen to what I say a little bit better when I say that Fairbanks isn't on the coast.
Oh, you're bringing that up again.
Whoa. Calm down, everyone.
But I did brought up what I was talking about with the South Shore line. I'm not gonna lie, it would be cool T&D run, you know? It sucks that we don't see D running anymore.
Hey, how about this? We'll donate it to South Carolina at the Reverdale train station.
Come on, man. Can we please move on from that joke? Because we're talking about our stuff.
No, it'll be fun because then you get the real fan all the time.
Whatever. Dude, the only reason I rail fan the depot because it got damn Wi-Fi. That's the only reason why it got free Wi-Fi there. So I don't have to clutter everything up when I get home. I could just simply get it out of the way while I'm there. But, yeah. But, hey, speaking of that, what do you guys think about the Durango and Silverton getting freaking diesel from the White Pat and Yukon?
I've never heard of this news.
The Durango and Silverton in Colorado. And
yeah, I know about what the Durango and Silverton is. I just never heard about them getting diesels.
Yeah, they're out. Order to stop freaking wildfires and stop getting sued by the effing I can't remember what it called again. What is it called again? The people who watch over the forest.
Rangers, foresters, environmental scientists.
It's the Rangers.
I think they go by a couple different names.
Because
their job.
Because 3 years ago there was not a fire and they are blaming the Durango and Silverton for it, which I don't think are right.
Well, does the Durango and Silverton have screens to filter out soot
Yes.
or embers?
Yes, they do. But they still got
Have they been
blamed
kept
for
in
it.
good condition?
Yes, they have. It did that. The people around there, some of the NIMBYs, the new people that been moving in from the north, like, from New York and all them shitty places, have been moving into that people who don't want them and want them to head back to where they belong and should say, been moving there, and they've been blaming the railroad.
Oh, the one that we talked about, people move.
How did this conversation turn from adding diesels to the Durango and Silverton line to damn liberals coming to Colorado?
It will all be explained, because when they had that Natty wildfire back 3 years ago that destroyed that town, they all blamed it on the railroad. Yeah. They blamed it on the railroad.
Let me look this up.
Yeah, you can look.
Colorado wildfire 2021.
Not 2021. It was back in 2019.
Okay, 2019.
But
So I was in Colorado. All right, what do we got? All right.
But the railroad is buying freaking diesel, some of the White Pat and Yukon old diesel locomotives, some of their old ones.
Okay.
One from Alaska, so they're actually being shipped from Alaska down to the lower 48. And the thing is that it's pretty interesting, because they're actually converting all their coal-fired steam engines into oil burners.
Coal-fired Siemens.
No, not Siemens. Steam engines into oil burning like the big boy.
Oh, okay.
So they're converting them to run on oil.
Okay. So hopefully we have less problems with embers starting fires.
Mm-hmm. Because they're...
Although, so I actually found I looked up Colorado wildfires, and I found the one for 2019. It was called the Decker Fire, and it says it was caused by lightning in early September and was allowed to burn while being supervised in the Sangre de Cristo wilderness. Fire flared up jumping Methodist Mountain, threatening homes south of Salida.
Mm-hmm. But...
So it says nothing about Durango or Silverton.
Or look up Durango, Silverton causing forest fire. Look that up.
Okay.
Because the Forest Service is one who are trying to shoot him with, heck, those people are freaking NIMBYs.
Really?
Yeah.
Or are they just trying to protect the forest? Because that's their job.
Well, the railroad's been around for over 100 years, and it's a national landmark.
Yeah, but NIMBYs usually oppose new projects. This railroad's been here for a while.
Well, one thing I know about NIMBYs is they like to get rid of stuff, and then when people try to bring it back, they say, not on my property. Well,
yeah, except they're not proposing to get rid of the railroad. You can fix the problem without getting rid of the railroad entirely.
Mm-hmm. That's true, but...
It doesn't make much sense to me.
I know, that's what I tried figuring out first time, and then I realized how people who hate railroads always try to bring something up just to get rid of them. Like the people who actually are chewing the railroad actually hate trains. I sometimes like doing a little digging on people backgrounds and dirty shit just to find the truth.
Okay, so
like you didn't want to build the Great Village Show final with the hero magic.
I found an article called called the 416 fire.
Yeah,
It says
that's the fire. That's the fire.
Fire complex were two wildfires that burned in the southwestern portion of Colorado in the United States in 2018.
2018.
The fires burned predominantly within San Juan National Forest, 13 miles north of Durango and 14 miles south of Rico. The 416 fire started on June 1st, 2018, and the Burrow fire followed on June 8th. Federal officials alleged that the embers emitted from a coal locomotive used by the historic Durango and Silverton narrow gauge railroad started the blaze, and have filed a lawsuit against the railroad seeking recoupment of $25 million in firefighting cost penalties and legal expenses. The fires burned a combined total of 57,000 acres and have cost more than $43 million to contain. The 416 fire was one of the largest wildfires in Colorado history, and both fires had a major impact on tourism and commerce for communities in the southwestern portion of the state.
Now, here's the funny thing. It's
from federal officials, though, not quote-unquote NIMBYs.
But here's the funny
This
thing.
is a federal investigation.
But, dude, here's the funny thing. In 2020, and they already pulled the article down because they realized that people would be chewing their ass. But luckily, a friend of mine named Carl, but I do make fun of him for that. Drop me.
Yes, the article that would prove that you say is down, so I'm just gonna have to take your word for it. How convenient.
Heck, it would get their ass chewed by the upper management of the government, you know? Management. Because I looked at the article before it would take it down, and turned out it was not from a steam engine, it was from a freaking lightning strike. So they got the article taken down because it would bring a shitstorm, and the Durango Silverton would probably been able to sue them for fall. And
you think this is because of just a news article?
Yeah. Or technically not a new
where
article.
Where does the news article get their evidence from? Couldn't they usually, when there's an investigation for a legal case, they look for what's called a primary source, not a secondary source, like a news article.
What happened with the 413 fire, is that it was from one source for them. So, yeah. That right there counts too.
One source for... But, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 5 citations here.
Mm-hmm. Kind of fishy.
But you said there was just 1.
But here, funny thing, kind of fishy, ain't it?
Yeah, it's funny how you said there was only one source that the federal officials had to go off of, yet there's 5 citations on Wikipedia alone. Sounds kind of sus to me.
Mm-hmm.
Are you trying to lie to me?
No.
Are you trying to fucking gaslight me?
No.
Yes, laugh, like Hillary Clinton when she's standing before the Senate. Go ahead.
Well, those teams are old, and all of them, some of them are a little different than her, but most of them are the same. Heck, they tried to stop them from rebuilding one of their bridges back in 2020 from a flood, trying to stop them from rebuilding it when it got washed out from a storm. Like, literally, the Forest Service actually tried to stop the railroad from rebuilding a bridge in 2020 on their line.
Relevance
and they were from the same people who are making them pay for the forest fire. See the little connection right there?
Bridge replacement
from flood.
Let's see.
Let's
see. The Durango and Silverton narrow gauge railroad was awarded $2 million to help fix a bridge just south of Silverton. Has received nearly $2 million from a federal rail safety program to help pay for the replacement of. Wait a minute. federal grant. Isn't this the same agency that also ruled the cause of the fire from the Durango themselves?
Mm-hmm. Kind of fishy, ain't it?
That sounds...
The same height.
That doesn't help your case, David.
There you go.
That just makes your story even more confusing.
Phones.
Whatever. Let's get on to some of the other shit that I was trying to bring up. But, oh yeah, I gotta get ready to go to bed really soon. But, heck, anybody interested in some of the new tourist railroads popping up?
New tourist railroads?
Yeah, there've been a couple.
If it's not in Chicago or anywhere in Illinois, I'm not interested.
Where are some of these new railroads popping up?
Tourist railroad. Well, there are new one that they're out talking about doing in Maine. So that one interesting one. But there's another one that we're talking about doing in California. There's one that they're building in Colorado. Like literally. Yeah,
can you describe a little more about them?
Well, the one in Colorado have a small old abandoned town on it, and it actually back in the day you've been a railroad hub. A big railroad hub for narrow gauge railroads until the 1950s when the whole town went abandoned and they pulled up alt track. And they're rebuilding a track in the town for tourism. It's 2 to 3 hours from Denver, Colorado. Headed down.
Is this in Georgetown?
No. It's not in the mountain. It's right there. Right you get out of the Rockies into the plains.
So it's east of Denver.
It's not heading east. It's heading down south. It's going down south from Denver, headed down to New Mexico.
So is it by Colorado Springs? That's south of Denver.
Yeah, it's right by it.
Wait, is this the Pikes Peak Cog Railway?
No, not the Pikes Peak. Because that in the mountains. This one is on the outskirts of the mountains, right in the plains.
Huh. Okay.
They're two different chains, but also a narrow gauge.
Interesting. Usually don't see narrow gauge in the plains.
Well, technically it was because it one connected not Colorado, but Denver down to the line that head through the Tennessee Pass. Because if you all remember back all the way up until the 1950s, during the 40s and 50s, the Tennessee Pass was dual gauge. Like, it was dual gauge halfway through the canyon. Yeah, did you guys know that? The line was dual gauge up until the 1950s.
You mean standard?
It was both standard and narrow gauge. When you have both on the same track, it's called dual gauge. Meaning narrow and standard gauge. And the line used to head up out from Tennessee Pass, fall along the basin, and town that I can't remember what town was called, but it was right in a middle of nowhere type of town, you know, a big railroad hub. And it was a few hours before you got into Denver, like a few hours before that. And they're rebuilding everything at a tourist town. It's interesting, that for sure. And it's slowly getting bigger. So, yeah. But also,
Okay.
they are building another tourist railroad in California, too. You know, I can't remember what
Where in California?
it in the basin or like that area in the flatland area. I can't
The
remember.
Central Valley?
Yes. I can't not stop forgetting stuff today. Oh. Jesus. Dude, I'm just brain farted left and right today. But
Things will have to figure out when me and Highcaster.
That fit on what is going through my mind right now. Oy. But Jane is that they are building one in California too. It is standard gauge railroad, and also they're building a roundhouse. And with it pretty interesting, and they're using all the bricks from an old roundhouse that they're bringing out from somewhere else in California, which is mind blowing, but yeah. But yeah. But it is crazy. And speaking that, the WWF in Maine, they're nearly done with rebuilding the line that they are going to use for tourist operation. Like, they're nearly completed. It's mind blowing. Oof. But yeah. Well, that all for the lad. Also, we do have a tour railroad here in South Carolina up in the upstate. Probably getting another one. They're talking about doing one for the Lancaster and Chester Railroad. Talking about having a tour operating for that. And that a class 2. So that's going to be interesting, having a tour railroad run on a class 2 freight railroad. Don't know how everything's going to go yet, but we'll find out soon. But yeah. Now, is there anything you guys want to say before I end the live stream?
Hold on. Wait, one thing I forgot about it. It's like, I can't remember it. See, now I'm getting dementia too. Thanks, dude.
You heard that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Can all of the money generated from this live stream go to the Revendell train station?
Can you guys, for the love of God, let that joke die? Come on, just let it die, man.
Hey, we need the money.
But yeah.
I'm dirt poor. I wish I could rebuild the Ravendale train station.
Come on. All right.
Maybe whatever makes the YouTube channel, we can donate to the...
But yeah, now I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Like this comment for Ravendale train station.
Oh, bye. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. Please like and subscribe, and I hope you guys found it enjoyable and a little interesting. And we'll talk to you guys later. Bye, guys.